Welcome to another stage analysis video. It's Sunday the 21st of September 2025. Gonna start off today's video with a look through a few of the watch list stocks from the weekend watch list and before getting into the regular members content. So starting off with SAIL, which is Sale Point. You can see currently testing its stage 2 level. So we look back to quickly go to a weekly chart on this. You can see the stage 2 level at the moment is defined by this high weekly close back here, which was at precise point 2277 at the moment. So it's just approaching that at the moment, which was this close here. So it's been tested it a few times and has been consolidating underneath that level for a little while now. But you can see the IPO day close here from back was at 22, so it's right on the borderline between the pivotal point from the initial IPO day close from where it IPO'd back in February there, and just moving out into a potential first uptrend, which stage 2 obviously defined. So looking for a push through this level and a push higher back towards the initial highs would be, when we get 26.35, so roughly 15% or so move to get back to the initial highs there before potentially moving on higher and into a deeper stage 2 advance as such. Number one of interest is JOBY. So this, I don't believe this has any earnings or sales particularly at the moment, but it's got a lot of interest in the last 4 or 5 months or so. You can see the volume in this since it broke out initially into stage 2 has significantly increased. You can see volume prior to that was much lower, so 4 or 5 times the average volume now on a daily basis compared to what it was doing back then. You can see the big jump up into stage 2 and a really strong initial run. So after obviously pushing out off the lows and up to the high, you can see it's had over a 300% move. The pullback been quite sharp, to be fair. It's pulled back over around 35 to 40% there, and now started to turn back up off the recent low and is back up another 30% since that. So Friday's move with a significant bar on its own on a daily basis and closing back above the 50-day moving average here, and the recent sort of pivot lows from the little range that formed up here. So we drop down to a lower time frame, you can see, which is, keep this a bit wider. A little bit bigger. So you can see that initial move where it was moving higher in stage 2, started to roll over and then drop down into a intraday stage 4, formed a little stage 1 and it's been moving higher in stage 2 on the intraday basis again. So this is a 2-hour chart here. So this is a good sort of intraday way of looking at the stages and for looking for pullback entry points. So we look ideally for once stock's pulled back, starts to form a base, we look for it to start turning the corner and starting to move back into stage 2 on that lower time frame. So you can see obviously that big move on Friday. It was already starting to move out before that on some strong relative volume coming through there. So back through here, it did break down. We started to see a move into stage 4 on that lower time frame. So it's turned the corner back through that and managed to just close back above the pivot level from where it started to break down there. So if it can hold above here, you can start to see it consolidate and move up through here into back towards the highs, then potentially we could get this sort of cup and handle type pattern develop on this. So come back to the daily chart. So I've marked the potential cup here. So we've seen other stocks like Oaklow, SMR, a few those kind of ones, the nuclear stocks, etc., have had similar kind of moves recently where they had big initial moves up, came off reasonably heavily, but then started to turn back up again and then quickly push back towards the highs and then started to consolidate. So looking for that kind of move in the near term, then potential pullbacks within the way. So 180R level at the moment at 15.53, 50-day moving average at 15.66. So if it can consolidate in this kind of area through here, could give a potential for an entry point in the near term there. But if it started to fall back below that 50-day moving average, then that would be a warning sign, as you want to see that with a strong close above that to hold above that at this point now. Another one of interest this week, MGNI. So moving up again, reasonably significant bar on Friday there, 8.54% move. It's been moving higher in stage 2 for a little while now, but it's gone sideways for the last few months. Consolidated, had an initial up thrust and a test and rolled over, but the push lower didn't go very far. Actually managed to hold within the minus 180R range there, so it didn't managed to close below that level and has pushed back up again and started to close back above the plus 180R level again. So short-term uptrend potentially been resumed in this one. If we look at it on a weekly chart, you can see it's had a decent move in that time scale. So since the April lows, over 200% and consolidated in a very tight range there. So we go on to the stage analysis chart here. Is it MGNI? You can see it's already moved 64.5% since breaking out into stage 2 itself here as well. So it's moving very well. So we're looking for this to continue and push higher in stage 2. So breaking out of this structure here and following through to new highs.